Hello everyone, welcome back to Dentalk's Bite-Size Sessions. I hope everyone's still keeping alright with what's going on. Hope you're still keeping your mind sharp, still keeping active, still trying to move. I know it's long, but I promise you we'll get through it. Just keep plodding along, don't you worry about it. So today's topic, we're going to talk about posture. Bit of a disclaimer before we start. So I'm not a physiotherapist. I'm not gonna use any big words because I'll bamboozle myself. I'm absolutely too mince to start using big words. So that's a physiotherapist's job and they can explain things a little bit better. I will try and explain things the way I understand it and hopefully it'll help you. So that's my little bit of disclaimer done. Posture. Two things I've come across in this space: lower cross syndrome and upper cross syndrome. If you don't know what it looks like, we'll start off with lower cross syndrome. It looks a little bit like this geezer here. The picture illustrates a person standing and you can see that the lower part of his back is arched, is excessively arched. And the cross indicates what happens. So you have a series of weak muscles and you have a series of tight muscles. So on here, the tighter muscles will come from the lower back, it'll come from the hip flexors, from sitting down excessively, quite a lot, not moving, muscles contract. And then your weaker muscles, which you'll have your glutes and your abdominals. So to combat this, we've got to do a series of things: strengthen and lengthen. So within the picture, you can see that excessive curve in the lower back. So and it happens when I lay down. If I were to lie down on a flat surface, I'll be able to place my hand all the way through that curve. So these are things that's very noticeable to know if you have lower cross syndrome or if you see somebody with it. What can also happen is you can get aches and pains in your hips and aches and pains as you're starting to move in different directions. And again, this has happened to me in the past. I've always thought my tightness from lower back came from hamstrings and derived from something else. But this could be something that I need to try and rectify, this lower cross syndrome. The causes of it can differ. So within our space, you have obesity is one of them. If you have a weird center of gravity, if you've got a piss tank at the front of you and you're trying to counterbalance that, what happens is your back's going to arch, your booty's going to pop out. So you have the Instagram booty look, but then you have a piss tank in front. So your center of gravity is a little bit off and you're trying to counterbalance yourself. You also have your posture. We tend to sit quite a lot and we tend to drive quite a lot, sit in front of computers, Netflix and chill. So what happens is muscles contract, again your lower back, your hamstrings are all in that tight position there. So when we stand up, it wants to stay in that position. That's why we kind of hunched over or the back starts arching. And that's kind of what happens to it. In order to correct these, so the help you can get, you can start with yourself. So being a little bit more aware as to what your posture is doing. If you sat down and you find your back arching a bit too excessively, then you can counteract that by tilting your pelvis forward, tucking your tailbone in, and also you can do some stretches. You can, if you don't know much stretches and you need to work on your mobility, you can go and see either a PT, you can see a chiropractor and they'll help you with mobility, they'll help you with flexibility. You can go and get a massage, which will then loosen off the muscles, loosen off all the tight muscles. And like I said, corrective exercises is probably one of the best things you could do because it's self-help at the end of the day. What I've done is I've picked a few exercises. There are absolutely loads of them that you can choose from, and you can go and research this and choose more exercises that will strengthen and lengthen. But I've chosen 4 for you. These exercises are just explained briefly, and they're pretty low impact. There are things that you can do to advance the exercises, so you could progress or regress on them. But these exercises are pretty simple for you to try and grasp. But like I said, if they don't agree with you, or it's a little bit too advanced, then you can research something else or go and see an expert and they can give you another exercise that you can do. All right. So in the meantime, have a look at these exercises and let me know. we go. Welcome back. That was 4 corrective exercises for lower cross syndrome. If you need any more, do some research, and I'm sure you'll find shit tons more of exercises that'll help you loosen that back off. What we're going to move on to now is upper cross syndrome. Same principle, different part of your body. If you're not too sure what it looks like, have a look at this geezer here. So that's known as text neck or tech neck. The majority of us now, it's so common. We've got a smartphone, or we've got devices that we could play on. We've got computers that we work on constantly. So what happens is we tend to round our shoulders forward and our head moves forward a little bit. And that's what you're seeing in this illustration here. Same principle, weak muscles, tight muscles. So you have your weaker muscles will be your neck flexor and your lower trap going down, and then your tighter muscles will be your chest and it'll be your upper trap. So again, we need to lengthen and strengthen. When you have upper cross syndrome, what might happen is your rotator cuff might be giving you some issues. You can start getting chronic pain all in the upper part of your body, could cause headaches, could cause migraines, amongst a host of other pains that you can have up there, right? And it's all down to our posture. One of the main causes of upper cross syndrome is how we stand and how we sit, or our lifestyles. If we sit down and we stand for a prolonged period of time, and we're constantly hunched over, and we're constantly trying to use our smartphones, then it's going to happen eventually, because we're spending more time in that position, tightening our chest, tightening our upper traps, than actually trying to loosen off. So the same principles for upper cross syndrome will stand. A bit of self-help to begin with. Try and be aware of what your posture is doing. If I'm sat on a computer, or if you're sat on your mobile phone device, then try and keep a proper posture, and try and be aware of what your body's doing instead of hunching over. It may be hard at first and may be very, very awkward walking around like that, being like that, but it'll help in the future. Chiropractors go for a massage. It'll work wonders for your mobility and for stretching out those muscles as well. If you've got any habits that you found when you sat playing PlayStation, or when you go to bed and you want to use your smartphone, you find yourself propping your neck up, then try and get out of those habits. Try and use another method of looking at your phone, and try and switch things around, because again, that might help. A little bit of awareness of what's happening with your posture is the main thing. And like I done with lower cross syndrome, I've selected some exercises, some corrective exercises that will help you with upper cross syndrome. To be fair, I think it's one of the most prominent ones that I see here, and I see in our space. And it's typically because of the world that we live in. Everything's all teched up now. In order to help you, the corrective exercises are there, shitloads of them. Again, I've just picked 4, but if you want to have a look at some more, go and do some research. Find somebody who knows a little bit more about exercises and stretches, and they'll be able to tell you. But for now, have a look at these exercises and see if they make any sense to you. So there you have it, a little waffle on posture. We spoke about lower cross syndrome, we spoke about upper cross syndrome, and I gave you some corrective exercises for both of them. And that's only a few. There's shit tons out there. have a look, do some research, and I guarantee you'll find absolutely fucking loads of them, and it can help you. A little bit of self-help. These exercises, you need to try and do them properly though. Don't just go through the emotions. And don't expect things to change overnight, because nothing happens like that. Try and take your time with it. Really use the stretches for what they are. Really use the strengthening exercises for what they are. And I guarantee you, they will help you in the long run, and it'll get you a hell of a lot more loose. I'm speaking from experience, because even though I'm really stiff, I used to be stiffer, all right? Get minds out of the gutter if people are thinking about something else. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was all right for you. Next topic is God knows what, but I'll pick something out. If you got something for me to talk about, then obviously let me know. And send me a DM, man. Let me know how everyone's getting on. Let me know what you're doing. Give me some ideas on what I should be doing as well. If you like, again, subscribe, like, do whatever you want. But I hope you keep enjoying yourself. I hope you're keeping active, and I hope you're keeping your mind active as well. And until next time, stay safe.